Let's start with exercise 2.3. So the first question, this question is based on factorization and division. So x plus 1 is a factor of x cubed plus x squared plus x plus 1, right? So how do we check whether it is a factor? Very simple. We put g of x, let's say x plus 1 is g of x, right? So we can write g of x is what? X plus 1, correct? And p of x is what? X cubed plus x square plus x plus 1. So what was the two rules? The first rule was equate g of x to equate the divisor to 0. Find the 0 of g of x. And after finding the 0 of g of x, put it in the p of x. You'll get the remainder, right? If the remainder is 0, it is a factor. So let's do the first step, that is put divisor is equal to 0. So if I put divisor is equal to 0, that means g of x is equal to 0. That is what I have to do. So g of x is equal to 0. What will happen? X plus 1 is equal to 0. X is equal to minus 1. If x is equal to minus 1, let's put minus 1 in p of x to get the remainder. Okay, so it will become x cubed plus x squared plus x plus 1, right? So let's change those all the x's and write it in terms of minus 1. Okay, so it will become minus 1 whole cube plus minus 1 whole square plus minus 1 plus 1, right? So what do we get? Minus 1 whole cube will become minus 1, minus 1 whole square will become plus 1, minus 1 plus 1, right? Is the remainder 0? Yes, the remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, that means p of minus 1 is 0. That means x plus 1 is a factor, right? So that's how we check whether it is a factor or not. So we can say x plus 1 is a factor of x cubed plus x squared plus x plus 1, or you can say g of x is a factor of p of x. So this is how you have to write. Okay, so you have to first say by remainder theorem wherever is needed. Where is remainder theorem needed? So by remainder theorem you have to write here, right? By remainder theorem you can say here. Okay, by remainder theorem you have to write this. Okay, so we are using remainder theorem. If the remainder becomes 0, what is it? We're using factor theorem, right? So we're checking using the logic of factor theorem. Remainder theorem and factor theorem goes hand in hand, correct? So let's try the next one. So next one we have x raised to 4. Then we have x cubed plus x squared plus x plus 1, right? The same way we know what is g of x is equal to 0. That is g of x is equal to 0. That is x plus 1 is equal to 0. X is equal to minus 1. So substitute p of minus 1. What will be the answers? Minus 1 the whole raised to 4 plus minus 1 the whole raised to 3 plus minus 1 the whole square. Then we have minus 1 and plus 1, right? So let's check what will be the answer. You can see we have 1, we have minus 1, we have 1, we have minus 1, and we have plus. So these are the numbers. So you have to be very careful whether it gets cancelled out or not, right? So it gets cancelled out, right? Does it get cancelled out? What all gets cancelled out? You have to be very careful. So we have certain numbers minus 1 cancels with plus 1 plus 1. So your final answer is 1. So is this a factor? X plus 1 is not a factor, right? Of what? Is not a factor of p of x, right? What is p of x? P of x is x raised to 4 plus x raised to 3 plus x squared plus x plus 1. So this is how you have to do, right? So it's easy. If the remainder is 0, right, you can also write not equal to 0, right? Because that is how we check whether it is a factor. Easy logic, right? Let's see the next one. We have x plus 1, whether it is a factor. Try it out yourself, right? So what happens? We know g of x is equal to x plus 1, right? So write what is given first, as always. P of x also we will write. Before we did not write, so we'll just write x raised to 4 plus 3x cubed plus 3x squared plus x plus 1. There is only two steps. Find the 0 of g of x, 0 of the divisor. That is step 1. So how do we find the 0 of the divisor? That is equated to 0. So it will become x plus 1 equal to 0. So x is equal to what? Minus 1. Now substitute that minus 1, right? Put in and get the value of p of minus 1, right? P of minus 1, let's find the value. P of minus 1, so minus 1 raised to 4. We have 3 into minus 1 whole cube plus 3 into minus 1 square plus minus 1 plus 1, right? So what do we get? So minus 1 the whole raised to 4 will become 1. This will become minus 3 because minus 1 whole cube will become minus. So minus 3 and we'll have plus 3. Correct? So these two will cancel out, right? Then we have x is what? Minus 1, right? And we have plus 1. So what happens? These two will also get cancelled out. So what are we left with? We're left with only 1. So is this a factor? G of x is not a factor, right? Not a factor of what? Not a factor of, so to write this, you have to write g of x is equal to x plus 1. You have to write p of x is equal to whatever that dividend was, right? So we'll write is not a factor of p of x. Okay, all right. So that's how you check whether it is a factor or not. So x plus 1 is not a factor. Like that, you can try with different values, right? So we have again, what is our 0? G of x is equal to 0. X plus 1 is equal to 0. The same, it is x plus 1 only. So x is equal to what? Minus 1. So we'll put p of minus 1. First we have to write p of x is equal to what? X cube minus x square and all, right? So but we'll directly substitute. We'll check what is the answer. So if you're doing it along with me, please take a pause and do it and try. Then only write down the answer. Do not just copy and listen. Make sure you have a pen and paper and do it along with me, okay? So what is the answer? Minus 1 the whole cube. If it is minus 1 the whole cube, it will become minus 1, right? Minus of minus 1 square. Minus 1 square is plus, but minus is outside, so it will become minus 1, right? Then there is a minus outside. If it goes inside, it will become minus 2 and minus root 2 x, right? So I'll just put the x here right now for you to try it out. Okay, we have to put in these values. Okay, instead of putting the x, we'll just open the bracket. No problem. Okay, I thought of putting the x and doing it, but no problem. We'll do one thing. We can do it like that as well. We can open the bracket. We'll open the bracket later. Okay, we are putting the minus 1 inside first. Then we will do opening the bracket. So we do not make mistakes. That is the idea here. Okay. All right. So we have minus 1 and minus 1 will become what? It will become minus 2, right? Now there is a negative sign outside. Let it be there. Now 2 into minus 1 will become what? Minus 2. Root 2 into minus 1 will become minus root 2. Then we have plus root 2 here. Now let's open the bracket. This will be easier. No confusion here, right? So minus 2 and minus goes inside, will become plus 2 and it will become plus root 2 and plus root 2. What is your final answer? Your final answer is 2 root 2. So this is your answer. This is your remainder. If the remainder is something other than 0, not equal to 0, you can write. So what can you write? You can write x plus 1 is not a factor. Very simple, right? Is not a factor. So this is how you have to do it. If you want detailed explanation, all these detailed explanation is there in the cheat notes as well. It's there in the important questions. So please follow that way of writing. Okay. Now the next question, again, g of x is a factor of p of x. How do we check? Let's check it out. Equate g of x equal to 0, right? So x plus 1 is equal to 0. X is equal to minus 1, right? Now let's put this minus 1 again. We'll put it in the next one, right? So p of minus 1 is how much? We have 2 into minus 1 the whole cube plus minus 1 the whole square minus 2 into minus 1 minus 1, right? What happens? It'll become 2 into minus 1 the whole square will become minus 2, right? Then we have plus and minus, or minus 1 the whole square will become plus 1, right? So it'll become plus 1. Minus 2 into minus 1 will become plus 2 and we have minus 1. So what happens? This will cancel, this will cancel. Your final answer is 0. So now I can say yes, x plus 1 is a factor. A factor of what? A factor of p of x. So it's always better to write what is p of x, what is g of x. So you can, in the end, you can just write g of x is a factor of p of x. So you do not waste space, right? All right. So the next question we have, now what is our g of x? G of x is x plus 2, right? Correct? So g of x is equal to 0. I'll substitute, equate it to 0. So x plus 2 is equal to 0. X is equal to what? Minus 2, right? So minus 1 and 1 was easy, right? All we had to check was the sign. So when cubing and squaring of other numbers, be very careful, okay? So p of x is what? Instead of p of x, it should be, instead of p of x, it should be p of minus 2, correct? Minus 2. So we have p of minus 2, which will become minus 2 the whole cube plus 3 into minus 2 square plus 3 into minus 2 plus 1. Now let's substitute, get the answers. What are our answers? We'll have minus 2 the whole cube will become 2 into 2 into 2, which will become 8, right? So it is 8, but what sign? Negative sign, right? 3 2s are 6, 6 2s are 12. You can do like that, right? So 2 2s are 4, 4 3s are 12. That's fine, right? So what happens? It'll become 12. Why? Because negative sign is being multiplied twice and that sign will go, right? Now we have 3 into minus 2, which is minus 6, and we have plus 1, correct? So these are our numbers. What else is there? Add it and check. Your answer will become minus 1, right? So if it is minus 1, is it a remainder? No, it is not equal to 0. You can always write this, which is not equal to 0. So g of x is not a factor of p of x. Only if it is 0, it is a factor. I hope the idea is clear now. Now let's see the next question. P of x is equal to x cube minus 4x square. Okay, what is g of x? G of x is x minus 3, right? Equate g of x to 0 to find the 0 of the polynomial. So what is the 0 of the polynomial g of x? Very simple, it will become 3. Now once g of x is 3, equate it, right? So we have p of x, or p of 3, right, is equal to what? 3 cube minus 4 into 3 square plus 3 plus 6. Be very careful. Let's add. 3 cube will become what? 3 into 3 into 3, right? So that will become 27. So 27 minus what? 3 3s are 9, 4 9s are 36, plus 3 plus 6. Okay, 27 minus 36, it will become what? 9, minus 9, right? It will be minus 9. Now 6 plus 3 is what? 9. So you get it. You get the answer 0. So once we get the answer 0, I can say g of x is a factor of. So this is basically factor theorem, right? So I hope the idea is clear how we can get the factors, factor theorem, right? By using factor theorem. Okay, so find the 0 of the divisor, that is g of x, substitute that 0 into p of x, that is the dividend, find the remainder. Then if the remainder is 0, then g of x is a factor of p of x. Very simple. Next question. So we have the next one, checking x minus 1 is a factor or not, right? So let's see. All these questions was checking whether it is a factor. Here they're saying x minus 1 is a factor. Okay, it's already a factor. So that means what? That means if g of x is x minus 1, right? I substituted g of x to 0. What is the 0 of the polynomial? The 0 of the polynomial will become x is equal to 1, right? The 0 was 1. Now I have to put 1 and c, correct? I'll have to put 1 and c. So if I put 1, what would happen? P of 1 is 0, definitely, because it is a factor. So P of 1 will be equal to 0 because why? X minus 1 is a factor. It is given, right? So because what? I can say because g of x is a factor. That is the reason, right? The remainder will be 0. Now, what is P of 1? Let's find P of 1. P of 1 will become 1 square plus 1 plus k. How much is that? That will become 2 plus k. Right? So 2 plus k is equal to 0, right? From here, 2 plus k is equal to 0. So k is equal to what? Minus 2. That is your answer. And that's how you find this answer. So let's find the k here. Same logic. X minus 1 is equal to 0. Why? Because g of x is equal to 0, equated to 0. Find the 0 of the polynomial. The 0 of the polynomial is 1. So P of 1 is equal to 0. Why? What is the reason? I can say by factor theorem, because g of x is a factor of p of x, right? That is the logic using factor theorem. Okay, so what is P of 1? Find P of 1. P of 1 will become 2 into 1 square plus k into 1 plus root 2. Okay, this is your answers. Now 2 into 1 square, that will become 2. K into 1 is k, and we have root 2, correct? So this is equal to 0, right? P of 1 is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to what? 2 plus k plus root 2, right? So what is k? 2 will go to the other side, root 2 will go to the other side. So k is equal to minus root 2 and minus 2. Or I can write minus 2 minus root 2. This is your answer. Okay. Now let's see the next question. We have the same type. What is your 0? Again, the 0 is same. X minus 1 is equal to 0. G of x is equal to 0. Correct. So what is x? X is equal to 1. So if x is 1, let's put in 1. If I put p of 1, it'll be equal to 0. So you can also write by factor theorem. By factor theorem. Okay. You can say by factor theorem, or you can say because by factor theorem, g of x is a factor of p of x. That is also fine. Okay. Now what is p of 1? Let's substitute and get the answer. P of 1 will become k into 1 square, which is 1, and minus root 2 into 1 plus 1, right? So it'll become p of 1 is 0. So we have k into 1 square, which will become k, and we have minus root 2 and plus 1. So what is k? K is equal to root 2 minus 1. When the values go to the other side, it will become root 2 minus 1. Let's try the next question, quick and fast. Kx square minus 3x plus k. So kx square minus 3x plus k, same logic. What is p of 1? What is p of 1? It is equal to 0. Why? Because g of x is equal to 0. What is the 0 of g of x? Very simple. The 0 of g of x is 1, right? Now put in that 1, it is equal to 0 because by factor theorem. By factor theorem, right? This is the reason. And what do we do next? We'll write p of 1 is equal to k into x square. That will become k into 1 square minus 3 into 1, which will become minus 3 plus k. So what happens now? It will become 2k minus 3, and p of 1 is 0. So k is equal to what? 3 by 2. Move the minus 3 to the other side. Move the 2 to the other side. It will become 3 by 2. Factorize 12x square minus 7x plus 1. So let's try to factorize now. We learned about, all this while we learned about how to use factor theorem to find the remainder, how to check whether it is a factor, how to find the k value from factor theorem, right? Now we have to factorize. That is, we have to group them, right? In two terms, two polynomial terms, right? So how do we do that? That's very simple. The first method we have is splitting the middle term, right? What is the general form? The general form is ax square plus bx plus c for a quadratic polynomial. So here it is quadratic polynomial. Yes. What is your a? Your a here is 12. Correct. Now compare and see. B is what? Minus 7. What is your c? Your c is 1, right? So what is the product? The product will be a into c. What is a into c? It is 12 into 1, which is 12. What is the sum? The sum will become minus 7, right? So sum is minus 7 or b. This is the logic. So we need two numbers whose product is 12 and whose sum is minus 7. So we know 4 3s are 12. Yes. And we need to get minus 7. So it should be minus 4 plus minus 3 to get minus 7, right? So minus 4 into minus 3 is plus 12. So it works. That's how I can split the middle term, right? So it'll become 12x square minus 4x minus 3x plus 1. 7x will be split. Minus 7x will be split as minus 4x minus 3x. Okay, so what is common here? We have 4x common. So it'll become 3x minus 1. And we'll take a minus 1 outside. It'll become 3x minus 1. So we have 4x minus 1 and 3x minus 1. Very simple. So these are our what? These are our factors. You can equate it to 0. Okay. So what is our factors? Our factors are 3x minus 1 and 4x minus 1, right? You don't need to actually equate it to 0 because we're not finding zeros, right? So we'll just keep it as it is. Okay, we'll keep it as it is, right? This is better. So no need to equate it to 0, okay? So 3x minus 1. So what is my factors? These are my factors. What are my factors? 3x minus 1 and 4x minus 1. So this is how we split the middle term and get the two factors. So let's try another question. Okay. So in this question, 2x squared plus 7x plus 3, let's try to dive in. The product is 3 2s are 6. Product is 6. What is the sum? The sum is 7, right? So I need to get 6 as this product and the sum should be 7. Very simple. 6 into 1 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. Always write like this on the right hand side, so it will be easier for you. And if you're not getting it, prime factorize and check the factors. Okay, so we have 6x plus 1x plus 3. So 2x you take common, you'll have x plus 3. You'll take plus 1 outside, you have x plus 3. X plus 3 you'll take common, you have 2x plus 1, right? So these are the factors that you have. Very easy, right? Okay, let's factorize the next one as well. 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. 6 6 are 36. So it should be minus 36. That is, the product is AC, right? That is minus 36. What is the sum? The sum should be 5. So what will be the answers? What are the possible outcomes here? So like I said, if you're having any doubt, just try to prime factorize. So we have 2, right? And 18, right? 2, 9. Then we have 3 and 3 and 1, right? So factorize it. Now what do we have? We know the different forms, right? We can have 6 into 6, right? We can have 2 2s are 4, 3 3s are 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. Yes, I'm getting the sum, right? So that's how you can do it. 9 minus 4 is 5, right? So it is 9 minus 4 as the sum. 9 into minus 4 is the product. Yes, so that is how you have to do it. So we'll write it as 6x squared plus 9x minus 4x minus 6. So I'll take 3x common from both the numbers. I'll have 2x and plus 3, right? Then here if I take 2 outside, I'll have 2x plus 3. So it's correct, right? So I can take 2x plus 3 and I have 3x minus 2. These are my two factors. These are my two factors. This question again, 4 3s are 12. Product is minus 12. Be very careful, it is minus 12. Sum should be minus 1, right? So how do we do this? We need to get minus 1 as the sum. 6 2s is 12, 4 3s are 12, right? So 4 minus 3 is 1. So we have to figure it out. How can I get minus 1? If I put minus 4 plus 3, it'll become minus 1, right? Minus 4 into 3 is 12. So that's how you can split the middle term. So it'll become what? 3x squared, right? Minus 1 is minus 4x plus 3x minus 4, right? So what is, let's see how we can group it. We'll take x common. We have 3x here and minus 4. So we'll take plus 1 and we have 3x minus 4. So what is your answer? Your answer will be x plus 1 as one factor. The next factor is 3x minus 4. These are the two factors. X plus 1 and 3x minus 4 are the factors. So we understood how it works for quadratic polynomial splitting the middle term. But what happens if a number is a cubic polynomial? How do I find the factors? So let's check first whether it is a factor or not. Different numbers, and we'll see whether any number is the zero of it, right? So let's first check using zero concept, finding the zero of the polynomial. Okay, how do we find the different zeros of the polynomial? There is basically trial and error, right? You can try different numbers and get the zeros. Put 1, right? And we need to get the remainder 0. That is the logic. Okay, I can put p of minus 1, I can put p of 1, p of 2, right? P of 3, p of minus 2, p of 5, any of these numbers. But what is the trick here? I have already told in the starting, there is a trick to find this. Which number should I try? For that, there is a trick. What is the trick? Look at the constant here. The constant is 2. What are the factors of 2? 2 can be written as 2 into, or I can write minus 2 into minus 1, or 2 into 1, right? So these are the factors of 2. So one of these are the zeros. One of these are the zeros. Okay. So how do I try it out? So I'll try with 0. I can try with 1. So I'll do one thing. I'll try with 1. Okay. So if I'm trying with 1, let's see what happens. P of 1. It's trial and error method. I'll tell you why we're doing this. Okay. So we'll put 1. What happens? 1 cube minus 2 into 1 square minus 1, and we'll get plus 2, right? So 1 cube is 1 minus 2 minus 1 plus 2, your answer will become 0. So when the value of the polynomial is 0, right? When the value becomes 0, that means what? That means if a is 0 of the polynomial, when does that happen? A is 0 of polynomial when? A is 0 of polynomial when p of a is equal to 0. So this is 0 of the polynomial, correct? Okay, so if a is the 0 of the polynomial, what should we understand here? That is, what is a factor? X minus a is a factor. X minus a is a factor. So what is our factor here? Please write this down. If a is the 0 of the polynomial, p of a is equal to 0, right? Correct, now? When p of, so you have to say when a is 0 of a polynomial, when p of a is equal to 0, correct? So in the same logic, if that happens, x minus a is a factor, right? The same logic we are doing in reverse. Factor theorems, reverse logic, right? Factor theorems, reverse logic. So x minus a is a factor, right? So what is the factor here? X minus 1 is a factor. So we got the first factor. If a is the 0, x minus a is a factor. That's what you have to understand and write. If a is the 0, x minus a is a factor. You can try with 1, 2, minus 1 and so on. It's up to you which numbers you want to try, okay? So the same way, let's say, you can do this complete question by trial and error. Like you can try with 1, 2, minus 1 and all these numbers and get the different factors. Because we know only how many factors will be there. Because the degree is 3, how many factors are there? If the degree is 3, that means how many factors are there? Number of factors? There will be 3 factors. There will only be 3 factors. Got the idea? So if the degree is 3, the number of factors will be 3, correct? So let's try to do this. It's very easy. Let's try it out. Here we go. So I found out x minus 1 is a factor because p of 1 became equal to 0 after calculation. So x minus 1 is a factor. Okay, I got one factor. I need to find the next 2 factors, right? I need to find the next 2 factors. So how do I find the next 2 factors? Very simple. We have to divide, correct? So if I divide, I have to divide with x cube minus 2x square minus x plus 2 divided by x minus 1 to find the next factors. So let's do long division. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do long division. So we have to do long division to find our answer. So let's do long division. So we have x minus 1, and we have x cube minus 2x square minus x plus 2, right? So what happens? We'll first multiply with x square, right? So if I multiply with x square, it will become x square into x will become x cube. X square into minus 1 will become minus x square. You have to change the sign. Always leave a space. Change the sign because negative minus, when subtracting, the sign will change, right? So change the sign, then do it. Minus 2x square plus x square. What will be the answer? It will become minus x square, right? Now we'll bring down all the digits, or you can bring down just one digit, no problem. Up to you. So what happens? We have minus x square minus x plus 2, right? So what do we get? We have to multiply with minus x now. So when we multiply with minus x, it will become minus x square plus x, correct? So subtract, this will become minus, this will become plus, this will cancel out, we'll get minus 2x plus 2. So I have to multiply with plus 2 now. Now when plus 2 or minus 2, yes, I have to multiply with minus 2. So let me change that. Okay, so we have to multiply with minus 2, right? So when we multiply with minus 2, it will become minus 2x plus 2 and your remainder is 0. So it is completely divisible. So what is the logic? That is x cube minus 2x square minus x plus 2 is equal to what? X minus 1 the whole into x square minus x minus 2, right? Now we have to do what here? This is a quadratic polynomial. So we have to simplify this quadratic polynomial, right? We have to factorize this quadratic polynomial. So we have x square minus x minus 2. So this is a quadratic polynomial. So we have 1 here, 1 into minus 2. What is our product? Our product is minus 2. What is the sum? The sum is minus 1. So when do we get that? How do we get it, right? Very simple. Minus 2 plus 1, right? Minus 2 plus 1 will become what? Minus 2x plus 1x will become minus 1. And minus 2 into 1 is minus 2, right? So that's how you can split it. So take the x common, we'll have x minus 2. Take the 1 common, we have x minus 2. So what is our answers? Our answer will become x minus 2 and x plus 1, right? So these are the other two factors. So total, what are all the three factors? We have x minus 1, we have x plus 2, we have x minus 2. So these are our three factors. This is how you find the factors of cubic polynomial. First, by trial and error, find one factor, divide, then find the other two factors by quadratic polynomial, splitting the middle term. This is what needs to be done. Let's try another question, which is cubic polynomial. So the question is as follows. So which number should I try? So let's remember the trick. Though, what is the trick? Minus 5 is there. What is the, how can we get minus 5? We'll get 5 into minus 1, minus 1 in, or plus 1 into minus 5. That's how we get it. So we can try with minus 1. We can try with 1. Up to you. Okay, so I'll try with minus 1. So if I try with minus 1, let's see what happens. P of minus 1 is equal to minus 1 the whole cube, minus 3 into minus 1 square, minus 9 into minus 1, minus 5. Okay, so we have minus 1 and we have minus 3. Minus 1 square is plus 1, but plus 1 into minus 3 is minus 3. And we have plus 9 and we have minus 5, right? So minus 5, minus 3 and minus 1 will become minus 9. Minus 9 plus 9 is equal to 0. So what can we say? Minus 1 is 0. Minus 1 is 0 of polynomial. If minus 1 is the 0 of the polynomial by factor theorem, what can I say? X minus minus 1 is a factor. X minus a is a factor. If a is a 0, x minus a is a factor, right? So x minus minus 1 is a factor, right? So what's our factor? Our factor here will be x plus 1 is a factor. So x plus 1 is a factor. Very simple. So we have x plus 1 as the factor. Now if x plus 1 is a factor, how can we find the other two factors? By dividing, correct? So let's do long division. We'll quickly do long division. So x plus 1 and we have x cube minus 3x square. Make sure these are in the correct order. Okay, that is very important. Now what happens? We'll multiply with x square. What do we get? We get x cube plus x square and we are subtracting. This will become minus. This will become minus. So minus 3x minus 1x. So it will become minus 4x square. Minus 4x square minus 9x minus 5, right? So what is the next number? The next number will be minus 4x. So it will become minus 4x square and minus 4x. So what happens? This will become plus 5. Okay, I'll show it to you. So it will become plus and minus 9 plus 4, not plus 5, plus 4. So minus 9 plus 4 will become minus 5x. Now we have minus 5x here and minus 5 remaining. So what happens? We'll multiply with minus 5. Your answer will become minus 5x minus 5. The remainder is 0. It is completely divisible. So we can easily find the factors. We know it will be completely divisible because we showed that we know that x plus 1 is a factor. So we know it will be completely divisible. If it is not getting completely divisible, you made a mistake somewhere. So be very careful while dividing. Okay, now we got x square minus 4x minus 5, right? Can we split the middle term? We can, right? X square minus 4x minus 5, the product should be minus 5, the sum should be minus 4, right? So we know 5 into 1 is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. So we just need to change the order, right? So I need to get minus 4, so I should be minus 5 plus 1. So minus 5x plus 1x will give me minus 4. Minus 5 plus 1 will give me minus 5, right? So x into x minus 5 plus 1 into x minus 5, right? So we have x minus 5 and x plus 1. So what are my zeros? One of the zeros is repeating, right? One of the factors is repeating. My factors are x plus 1 and x minus 5. Like we have discussed before also in the explanation section, What are my factors here? There are 3 factors. Why? Because the degree is 3. Maximum number of zeros will be 3 zeros. If you look here carefully, what are the 3 zeros? The 3 zero here will become -1, -1. There are 2 equal zeros and there is a 5. These are my zeros. What is the factor? X minus a is the factor. If a is the 0, x minus a is the factor. So what is the factor? X plus 1, x plus 1, x minus 5. These are the 3 factors. So the next question, x cube plus 13x square plus 32x plus 20, right? So here, like I said, look for 20. 20 can be what? 20 can be 20 into 1, right? Minus 20 into minus 1. Then we have minus 5 into minus 4, right? We have 5 into 4. Then we have 2 into 10. And we have minus 2 into 10. Minus 10, right? So these are the different possible factors, right? The possible zeros. So one of them is zeros. There will be 3 zeros. Among them, 3 zeros will be there. Any other number, you can try it out. Okay, so these are the possible combinations. You can try with -1, you can try with 1, and so on. So I'll first try with -1. So if I try with -1, I had a feeling of -1, you can try with 1. Check which one comes to 0, right? So if I try with -1, let's see what happens. P of -1 is equal to -1 the whole cube plus 13 into -1 square plus 32 into -1 plus 20, right? So let's do it and see what will we get. So -1 the whole cube will become -1. 13 into -1 square. So what is 13 into -1? It will become 13. -1 square is 13. Now we have -32 because 32 into -1 is -32. We have plus 20. So let's see what happens. So add the same signs together. -33. And we have plus 33. So your answer is 0. Correct? So we got the answer 0. So what do we understand? What is the 0? -1 is 0 of the polynomial. Okay. So -1 is 0 of the polynomial. That means what? If a is 0, x minus a is factor. Remember that. Okay. If a is 0, x minus a is factor. So what is our factor? X minus -1 is factor. So what is your factor? What is x minus -1? That is x plus 1 is factor. Okay, that is what you guys have to write it down. So x plus 1 is the factor of the polynomial. So if x plus 1 is the factor of the polynomial, we can find the other 2 factors. How do we find the other 2 factors? By division. Okay, so let's try to divide and get the answer. So x plus 1 we have as a factor. Let's divide and see what happens. So we have x cube plus 13x square plus 32x plus 20. Okay, so let's try with x square. So we have x cube plus x square, subtraction sign, change the sign, subtract, I'll cancel out. 13x square minus 1x square will become 12x square, right? 12x square plus 32x, right? So we have to multiply with plus 12x. So what is your answer? Your answer will be 12x square plus 12x. Subtract. So what happens? It'll become 20x. 20x, and we have 20, right? What is remaining? We have a 20 here. So it'll become 20x plus 20, multiply with 20, you'll get the answer 20x plus 20, and the remainder is 0. So what is the factor? The factor is x square plus 12x plus 20. Now we have to split this factor as well. 12x plus 20, right? So it's easy. 1 into 20 is 20, so the product is 20. The sum should be 12, right? So how do we get sum as 12 and the product as 20? So that's very simple. So 10 into 2 is 20. 10 plus 2 is 11. 10 into 2 will be 20. 10 plus 2 is 12. So it'll become 12. Will be written as 10x plus 2x plus 20, right? So x into x plus 10. Then we have 2 into x plus 10, right? Perfect. So what happens? X plus 2 and x plus 10 will be there. So x plus 2 is my next factor, and the other factor is x plus 10. So what are the 3 factors? The 3 factors will be x plus 1 x plus 2 and x plus 10, x plus 1, x plus 2 and x plus 10. So these are the three factors of the polynomial, this p of x, right? So I can write this equal to p of x, okay? And I can write, if I want, I can write p of x is equal to x plus 1 into x plus 2 into x plus 10, right? So these are our factors. If someone asks, so in Olympiad level, just a quick thought, what is my zeros? Minus 1. What is my 0 here? Minus 2. What is my 0 here? Minus 10. So we got the zeros as well. Okay. All right. Let's see the next question and the last question of this exercise. So let's look here. We have minus 1, right? So to get minus 1, what should it be? It can be minus 1 into 1 or 1 into minus 1, right? So this is the possible combinations, right? So it's either minus 1 or 1. So we can try it out with minus 1 and 1. So if you try with 1, let's see. You can try with both, no problem. You can try with 1. So it'll become 2 into y cube, y square, and we have minus 2y, right? Okay, I'm just trying with 1. Let's see. So it'll become minus 1 here. Okay, so this is what we have, right? Let me just rub this. I cannot see what is the question. Yeah, okay. Perfect. So we have 2 into y, that is 2 into 1, and we have minus 1. Now what happens? So 2 into 1 cube will become 2, right? We have 1 square, that is plus 1. We have a minus 2, we have a minus 1, you're getting 0. So if 1 is 0 of the polynomial, then x minus 1 is the factor. X minus a is the, if a is the 0 of the polynomial, x minus a is the factor. So this is the logic, okay? So x minus a is a factor, so we can divide and see. So let's divide quick and fast. Here we go. So we have x minus 1 as the factor, and so instead of x, I should have written y, right? Because it is, everything is in terms of y. So let's change it and let's write in terms of y, okay? So we'll write in terms of y. Let's correct that, yeah. So it is y minus 1 is a factor, right? So I'll write y minus 1 is a factor. Now what is the answer? Is 2y cube, okay, plus y square minus 2y minus 1, okay. So first I'll multiply with y square. What y square? 2y square. Then only it will become 2y cube. So it will become minus 2y square. So what happens? Minus minus will become plus here, minus here, and it will subtract. This will go. Plus 2y plus 1y, that is 3y square minus 2y minus 1. So what happens now? Now it will become multiplied with 3 into y. So what is 3 into y? That will become 3y square and minus 3y. So minus 3y will become plus here, and let's subtract. This will become minus. It will cancel out. So plus 3y minus 2y, how much is that? It will become just y. Correct now? 3 minus 2 is just y. So 3 minus 2 just y. So y minus 1. So I'll just multiply with 1 itself. So y minus 1 and it becomes 0. So what is my second factor? That is 2y square plus 3y plus 1. This is my second factor. Now I have to factorize this further. It's a quadratic polynomial. So let's factorize. 2 into 1 is 2, right? I need to get 3. So this is very easy. 2y square plus 2y plus y plus 1, right? 2y plus y is 3y. That's how I can split this, right? Now 2y I'll take common. I have y plus 1. 1 I'll take common. I have y plus 1, right? So what is the answer? The answer is 2y plus 1 into y plus 1. So what are my factors? I'll just erase everything. So our factors are, I'll just erase this part. What is my factors? My factors are 2y plus 1, y plus 1, and y minus 1, right? So the factors will be 2y plus 1. Factors are 2y plus 1, y minus 1, and y plus 1. So these are the factors of the polynomial p of x. There are 3 factors because it is a cubic polynomial. So this is how you have to factorize cubic polynomials, right? How to find the factors, and from this you can find the zeros also, right? Just an additional Olympiad thought. What would be the zeros? The zeros will be minus 1 by 2. It'll be 1 here, it'll be minus 1 here, right? Okay, so always remember, if a is the 0, That means what? X minus a is the factor. Okay, that's how you have to write it down. Okay, now let's try the next set of exercise questions.